I'm extending a response to a question that was posed in relation to a statement I made. That statement was that people love government. It's a topic that I do take seriously because of the consequence of the underlying issues. When government extort A to give to B and simultaneously extort B to give to A with the endorsement of both A and B through various means. They also provide extensive benefits by this process. A lot of people are not really aware of what these actually are, or of the fact that they can be provided by means without involving the state, and consequently without involving threats and or fraud. Examples include using the police to keep certain behaviours under control, or claim to keep those behaviours under control. Social programs, the provision of charity, which would otherwise be provided from our own pocket. Claims to keep you safe from all manner of hazards, real or otherwise. Financial safety nets for people deemed to be in need, which consequently people will bend over backwards in a pretzel-like fashion to receive. Provision of hospitals, claim to be free and freely available. Provision of schools. Occupational licensing. For example, the medical profession. I don't know anyone who advocates for privately licensed doctors. Funding for your favoured group or cause, which most people can think of a couple. Regulation to control, ostensibly to manage safety, but also to control access to markets by various means, again, of which we can name many. Access to roads, the obvious one. Emergency services, which the providers of which say that we are unable to A, provide for ourselves, or B, decline. Provision of the police to keep you safe, again, ostensibly. Provision of the military to protect us from external threats, real or otherwise, mostly otherwise. Provision of courts to provide justice, or a claim to provide justice. Provision of the parliament, a legislature and a bureaucracy to support these things. Provision of a central bank to provide it. And most importantly, the provision of both money and credit. The problem is that provision of these things through government, which is not the only way that it can be provided, is done by force and also by deception, a topic which we can discuss later. Now, relating to my original comment that people love government, go to anyone on the street and ask them, would you go see an unlicensed doctor? Would you go to an airport with a privately qualified air traffic controller? Would you pay to give charity to people in need, deciding who those people are and how much they would receive? Would you go to a privately funded school, completely and wholly privately funded, or provide your own education in cooperation with others, etc., etc.? And very clearly, the answer is no. Over all of those things, people love government. With regards to the disadvantages of a metallic system, I am not, or a free system of exchange. Those things are actually provided by ourselves, or can be provided by ourselves through a private system of exchange or a metallic monetary system, as they were when we were using a metallic monetary system. And I am not saying that in order to do so, if we were to do that, we must immediately surrender those things. However, in the process of producing and exchanging the most basic of these things, which is food, thankfully an area where government does not have as extensive an area of involvement in as it does in many of these other areas, in that process, we reduce our dependence on the government provision of these things. And in that process, we surrender our dependence on government. For example, if we have an income in metals, an earned income in metals earned by producing and exchanging food, we no longer have a requirement for welfare. But people love all of these benefits. By virtue of the fact that these things are provided by force and fraud, I take it seriously, because to deploy force on your fellow human is a very costly endeavor. In so doing, you also open yourself up to the fact that that other person can also deploy force on you and will do so. Something we must keep in mind with regards to the political process, and it's very costly to do so. I take it seriously, and I think we should give it the respect that we would give to a danger equivalent to a 200-pound gorilla sitting in the corner of the room.